in the crib, beat up a nice lady and broke her ribs, kleptomanias running, loosing the mall, stuffing things in their pocket, anything that crawls.
That's really now. You just made that up?
Yeah, man.
Good job, guys.
These boys are in a maximum security juvenile treatment center in Denver, Colorado. It's known as CAT House, an acronym for Closed Adolescent Treatment Center. Behind the locked doors are 24 teenage boys convicted of rape, violent assault, or murder. The youngest inmate at CAT House is Ryan Unruh. Ryan was just 13 when he helped kill a friend's mother in a shockingly brutal murder. He claimed he was inspired by horror movies, particularly by the character Jason in Friday the 13th.
I've seen every one of the Friday the 13th about 5 times because I got off on so much and used it for a fantasy. And I used that to say, well, now I'm Jason. Now I'm not even Ryan no more. I'm Jason the murderer. Killing looks so simple. I thought I'd get away with it because I was thinking I was invincible, just like Jason was. I was seeing Jason as he got away with everything. So why couldn't I if I can do it? And it's like I was thinking all murders get away with it.
He loved Friday the 13th, Halloween, anything like that. He just wanted to see him over and over and over again. And I wish I'd realized he was seeing him over and over again. I didn't know he was even seeing him. He saw him with his dad, he saw him with the friends. They weren't at my house.
He told me, he said he liked being scared. You know, it gave him a rush, it gave him a thrill of being scared. When something come at you and just spook you all at one time, you know, give him a rush, you liked it. And I don't know, maybe I should never take him to that.
Ryan's fascination with killing fit right into the plans of an unhappy neighborhood friend, 14-year-old Doug French. Doug imagined that life would be better if he ran away from his mother's home. The two boys planned to run away together, but Doug suggested that if they killed his mother first, then they could use her car. Ryan agreed to do it.
Ryan started changing about 6 weeks before the murder. And all of a sudden, he just dropped out of doing anything. And I don't know why. I thought he was on drugs, so I called a drug hospital or whatever they're called, clinic. And they told me to bring him down and they would check him. But he wasn't home and I never got him down there. And he committed murder the next day.
The boys planned to strangle Rita French with a dog chain and rehearse the murder with Doug playing the role of his mother. Then on the night of the murder, another boy, desperate for friendship, Greg Lund, agreed to help them. Doug stood lookout from his mother's apartment while Ryan and Greg challenged each other to go through with their horror film fantasy.
We were all sitting down, we heard Doug's mom come up, and he went to the kitchen window and looked. He said, that's her, that's her. And he said that I'm leaving now because I want to see my mom be killed. I said, okay, so he left. He said, make sure she's dead, right before he walked out. And I saw the door start to open. And she turned and she saw me, and I threw the chain around her neck, and she screamed.
Rita French struggled against the chain around her neck and fought so hard that Ryan grabbed a knife.
So I started stabbing her in the upper part of the body at first, and it wasn't puncturing. So I moved down, and it got in her stomach, and then the knife bent. It bent somehow. I hit something, and it bent. I grabbed the BB gun and pointed at her cheek and shot it. And then she was still moving her legs, and that's when I saw this figure in my head that she was still alive. And so I gotta kill her, I have to. And so I looked around for the hammer, and I grabbed the hammer. And I hit her in the forehead with it, and then I saw blood start to come out. And then I started hitting some more, and every time I hit her, I was saying, die, bitch.
Following the murder, the boys abandoned their plan to run away. Within 24 hours, all had confessed to police.
They are able to anesthetize their feelings. It's almost like
They can deaden them. They can cut them off completely. That's the scariest part about the killers that I have seen, the teenage killers that I've seen. They are able to totally detach themselves from emotion.
Chavez, honesty, male.
No matter how hideous the crime, the law in most states limits the sentence in the case of a juvenile. So 13-year-old Ryan was given the maximum juvenile sentence, 5 years.
Ryan,
I have friends who know about this. You know, they're adamant about, well, he should have been sentenced out like an adult and he should have been executed. Well, I can see both sides of that coin. Yeah, he should have been. You know, he should have been executed. But the father side of me says, wait a minute, that's my son.
He had no remorse at all. And I just couldn't accept that. And that was not my son. So I gave all of his pictures up to his dad and all of his things. I didn't want anything about him around me.
Supervisor,
Rec room,
Ryan is an only child whose parents' tumultuous marriage ended in an angry divorce when he was 5. After the divorce, Ryan was constantly uprooted as his mother struggled through various jobs, homes, relationships, and marriages. He spent some weekends with his father, but the fighting between his parents never ended, and Ryan was always caught in the middle. Angry and confused, Ryan found the best way to get his mother's attention was to get into trouble.
The youngest that he can remember being very, very angry was over his parents' divorce. Not having dealt with a lot before that, I can't say what came before that. But he was very affected by the divorce, and more affected, I think, by the bitterness of the father towards the mother after the divorce and what he saw at that time. He gave him a very tainted view towards women in general, a very tainted view towards his mother specifically.
My mom was seeing other guys, and my dad was seeing other girls. And I was getting real confused, and I was getting angry at them both because I was feeling abandoned by both of them.
You know, I guess I'm a little bit interested in how you dealt with that anger back then. Little passive-aggressive type ways that you got back at your mom, little passive-aggressive ways you got back at your dad because you were mad that they split up. You're angry and felt abandoned, felt all of those things. I'm wondering how you dealt with it as a kid.
There was times when I would either like bust something in the house, like I'd bust my mom's dishes or something, because I know that'd get her angry, and she'd yell at me, but I'd get off on that because I got what I wanted.
What was that you got?
That got her angry and got her hurt because I bust one of her dishes, and I'd always make sure it was one of her favorite dishes.
His dad was never around, you know, and we don't get along at all. As far as Ryan's discipline and stuff, we tried not to fight. My ex-husband was more like a friend to Ryan than a dad. And we used to have arguments about that. And he said he was doing the best he could. Evidently, they cruised the area and checked out girls and things like that.
Whenever he was around females, he put them down, and I started picking up that was all right. And so I started putting females down. And my dad was always putting my mom down. I didn't say nothing, and I started using it, but I got real angry at my dad for doing it.
To hear the attitude he has for the women has really been a puzzle to me because I think I controlled my feelings, my attitudes, at least I thought I had, towards women or his mother, in effect that they would not be reflected on him because of the bitterness that I did hold for her for the separation of our marriage.
I didn't like authority, and my dad wasn't really that much of a discipline. He spanked me every once in a while, but my mom was always hit me, being on top of me, and being real disciplined. And I didn't like that, and so I picked that up as that females do that. Females are the only ones that like to hurt males.
Stay! Hey! 1 cat, 2 cat, 3 cat, 4 cat, 5 cat. Go!
Whenever I was feeling put down by a woman or a female, I would try to look for some way to turn it around back on them. It was like his real distorted thought of women were lower than me, but they were above me. And I wanted to put them down because I didn't see myself as being able to put males down that easy. And so I saw, and that's a lot of reason why I picked Rita French, because she's a female, she's vulnerable. I hit his arm, and I hit my arm. I didn't do that on purpose.
I think Ryan felt an extreme loss over the years, especially starting with his parents' divorce. And I think that that loss had to be replaced with something. And he needed to be seen, he needed to be recognized. He would have done anything, absolutely anything, to be recognized, to be seen, to be noticed. And when he saw the opportunity to be possibly on the front page for committing one of the most horrendous crimes that he could, he took his opportunity, he took his chance.
The body of Norma Jean Houston, 40 of 1549 Nome Street, was found about 9:20 a.m. Sunday, lying face down next to some bushes near...
At Cat House, the boys are never allowed to forget the people they hurt. As part of the treatment, Ryan and the other boys will be shown photographs of their victims and will be taken back to the scene of the crime. Ryan is still in the early stages of this victim awareness process as he reads newspaper accounts of other murders.
I don't think any of us understand how you could hurt someone else and not feel something. But I think it's very common. The kids do not feel, and I think they have put up a wall. They don't allow themselves to feel. Because if they do, they will fall apart. They will die. I hear the kids say, I cannot live and think about what I've done.
Because I think about this and I see how other people are affected, and I try to put that feeling of mine back onto my murder, and it disappears. Because that disappoints me. It makes me angry because I want it, but it's like it's gone and it's not there.
What is it that you'd like to feel?
I want to feel guilty for what I did, and I want to realize what I did. I realize what I did, and I know I murdered somebody, and I know that somebody lost their life, and that's all the stuff I can tell myself, but the feelings aren't there.
What do you think ought to happen to someone like you?
The first time, I think they should get help, and the second time, I think they should be locked up forever or executed.
Because Ryan is so young, I think we have a better chance with him. Have him deal with the feelings, have him understand the feelings, have him mold those feelings once he does get in touch with them.
He hopes he'll get out in 2.5 years. And I hope he can get a job and get his own place. I help him set up. And I hope people leave him alone so he can live a normal life again. Hi, honey.
Ryan and his mother didn't speak for several months, but eventually Ryan called and asked her to visit him. Their relationship is improved, and today Ryan is meeting his new half-sister for the first time.
And hold her.